Yes, Rascal and Disco beer review with me, a Disco, coming at you with another live from in front of the cans and bowls here on the bar, where I'm still celebrating calling the Disco Arms. Yes, I know, another late start, but yes, the Disco Arms is officially open for business, and I'm going to dive straight in with a beer because it's been another one of those evenings. So, welcome to the Custard Sessions. This is a heavily delayed show in itself. It's something I meant to do, well, last year when these beers actually came out. So I'll be worried there for a second. Yeah, so I don't think anybody's... This could go horribly wrong, couldn't it? I don't think anybody's too convinced that I'm doing the latest Turning Point birthday beers. It's a thing they do every year around about this time for their birthday. And they started it a few years ago, and I got the first ones and gradually built up. And it's ones I sort of look at getting every time. These ones I got last year and never got around to doing any content with them for a couple of reasons I'll come on to later. But, excuse me. So, with beers with custard in them, how do we think they're going to hold up? Being a year late, I poured that one and it looked a tad thin, but then it's kind of filled out a little bit and hazed up. They've got lactose in them for the custard, so I don't actually know how old lactose works in a beer. I'm sure Mersey, you'll let me know the technicalities on that, because I've never left a beer that long, a lactose beer that long. But yeah, no, I haven't fallen. Haven't fallen today. That was yesterday. Today was just one of them things. Can't really say. But yeah, I shall try and sharpen up a little bit, not be so tardy the next time. Don't know when the next one is. Not doing one tomorrow. I'm not planning on doing daily beer reviews on the lives. There's plenty of other people doing them, and don't know if I got the front for that, to be fair. But I have got these beers, and as I said on yesterday's show, these beers are racking up. I showed you the video yesterday going around the stash, and there's one or too many in there for my liking. I'm not the sort of person that buys a beer in just for the weekend and gets drinking on them. I do like talking about the beers. I like trying to do the content, and I've been a little bit tardy on the old content. Personal reasons, I guess you call it. Just I can't sit in front of the camera that well, unless I'm in the front of a camera where there's a bunch of people. And once again, thank you if you popped in. Thank you if you're watching this after the event, tomorrow or the rest of the week or whatever. It does help sitting in front of a camera. Good evening, Mr. B. Thanks for popping in. Yeah, getting a bad rep for being late. Well, I don't know if I've got a great rep in the first place, but thanks, as I say, for popping in. I'm not too sure about this beer. Doesn't look quite right to me. That's not the brewery's fault. I know not everybody loves Turning Point. It's been a brewery that I've gone back to time and time again. And all their beers, I think, have been pretty good, to be fair. So let's dive into this one. This is a Yellow Matter Custard. It is a 6% vanilla custard pale ale. Cheers. As ever, my big old hooter has chosen that exact moment to get a bit blocked, so I'm not going to be sniffing too much. Vanilla is one of those things in a beer I never ever seem to smell or taste. I haven't had these beers for 2 years now. I remember them being a really good sweetness, a really good custard flavour, but not massively in the terms of vanilla, because I just don't ever seem to get vanilla. I know what vanilla tastes like, or I think I do, I guess, from ice cream, and it doesn't ever really taste like that. But let me dive in. Cheers. Evening, Bidoc. Can't say long as have to be up to work for free. Fair enough. Thanks for popping in and saying hello. I guess you won't be on any beers in that case. Would it be better if it was rhubarb and custard? Well, there's one or two rhubarb and custard pails knocking about. More about something in custard with the next beer. If you've seen the lineup, you'll see it's a raspberry. It's called pink matter custard, so it's a raspberry and custard, which isn't necessarily as much of a known combination as, say, rhubarb and custard. You're right. I'm never sure about rhubarb either, but I don't think it would be better. I think it would be just as good as the pink matter custard. There's nothing wrong with that beer. I feel there might have been a little bit of separation of ingredients, but it's not a hoppy beer anyway, so there was no real hop content to it as far as I remember, and therefore isn't now. The hops haven't died. But there's a good balance across it. There's a good kind of sweet flavour without being like sticky or particularly artificial. There's a little bit of fruit in the background there as well. That was a bit odd, but so yeah, Turning Point, as I say, one that I've gone back to time and time again, probably more so than Brew York. I think each brewery does kind of have their ups and downs, their good points, strong points, and some things that maybe they don't do so well at. Turning Point do dark beers way better than their light beers. That is difficult for me to like, but it's difficult for me to disagree with, but it's difficult for me to wholeheartedly agree because, as you know, me and my thing with dark beers, I think one of my favourite Turning Point beers is a dark beer. I got that on the pictures later, but yeah, it's got mango. It's mango, but also that was lactation. It's a mango lassi donut pale ale. That was a really, really good pale ale, a light beer that they did. But yeah, they are pretty good with the darker beers, with the stouts. They've got quite a big barrel aging program going up at their new brewery there in Knaresborough in Yorkshire. Yorkshire was, I would say, probably, although it's a big area and there's a lot of breweries up there, it was therefore one of the biggest, by area at least, the amount of breweries I got beers from, like, you know, in the lockdown days and COVID times. When I started off ordering from home, Turning Point were there. One of the first ones I noticed. I actually first noticed them, it turns out, I think 2018, but the first earliest pictures were from 2019. I actually went through all the pictures I could find. It took me hours this afternoon assembling a little thing of all the beers, and there was a few I'd forgotten about, a few that Rasco had done as well. We first saw them at beer festivals. Certainly, I forgot they was at GBBF. They had the cookie dough stout there, and it was one that was a bit of a slow because we weren't really getting that much of their stuff down here in London. First time I saw them out and about was up in Doncaster, so not too far away. But yeah, Yorkshire, a whole bunch of breweries coming out of Yorkshire that I love, and this just happens to be one I see quite a lot of. It's quite a good thing, I think, the whole custard thing. It's fairly easy to do, putting vanilla in a beer, making it like custard, but you don't see, apart from, there used to be one up there, Northern Monk, don't mess with Yorkshire, that was rhubarb and custard, wasn't it? Nice one on a hacker from Ramsbury Brewery. I heard their head brewer is a bit of a ringing star. Top bloke. Ramsbury's one I keep meaning to get round to, but I haven't. Unless they bring out a disco beer, I just haven't got round to them because I keep talking about it. And yeah, also a nice little trip up to see Harry wouldn't be too bad because I'm out that west end of London. A little trip up the M40 would be lovely. We'll get around to it at some point. I'm on Crack Brewery, Giant American IPA, resinous and dank. It doesn't taste like the 7.5% on the tin. I bet it does on my palate. Craig, greetings. Thanks for popping in. Good to see you. You got any beers on this Thursday night? For me, it's pretty smashable, albeit a year old. I can't pick up any off flavours. I can't pick up anything bad. I know I keep saying about nominal best before dates. I think it's way past this one because it was for their birthday last April. The Custard Sessions 2023. It says here, as close as you can get to custard without getting your eyes wet. I'm not sure about that. That one isn't thick enough for that. I'm sure it was in the past. Oats, lactose, vanilla, hops, yeast, etc. What am I looking for? The date. Here we go. Best before 5th of January. It's not that far. It's only 3 months. It'll be all right, won't it? How bad can it be? Well, it's not bad at all as far as I can tell. Dorset IPA from Aldi. I saw that one up Aldi the other day, and because it's an IPA, I'm just like, it's going to be all right, isn't it? But I never quite needed to pick it up, really. There are some fantastic breweries in Yorkshire, certainly are. We do have some good breweries down here in Somerset, though. Yes, for sure. Somerset and indeed Dorset. Plenty of decent breweries down the West Country. I have a feeling that they probably have slightly less kind of online presence. You don't quite see so much about breweries from down that way, whereas Yorkshire seems to be ripping it up on the social medias and stuff like that. So, harsh but fair. Begrudgingly to you, Luke John. I never begrudge saying hello to Luke John because it means at least somebody's looking in. So this is part of a discussion, like what's the best area? What's the best area for breweries? Awesome breweries in Yorkshire apart from those Tadcaster ones. Well, one of the Tadcaster ones. The other one's just a bit eccentric and a bit daft. But I still think their beers are pretty good, or they used to be. Admittedly, I haven't got round to them for a while. Sam Smith's. Not going to talk about John Smith's. It's barely even a brewery, is it really? It's just a production line. JB Adventures once again, thanks for popping in. Cheers. At work again, I guess too early for a beer for you. But yeah, I'm doing the Custard Sessions. Vanilla custard pale to start off with from Turning Point Brew Co. I have to always be make sure that you mention the Brew Co bit, because I believe there's an organisation called Turning Point who are less than agreeable because they don't brew beer. Are John Smith's even still? No, I don't think they are. Are they not? There is still their brewery there in Tadcaster, so I don't know what is actually brewed there, if anything. But I have a feeling they're not like gone to Wolverhampton with all the others. Well, we all have our cross to bear. Fair play. Is it a mark of a good beer where, despite it being a year old and 3 months out of date, nominal, that you can still nick it and there's nothing off, there's nothing bad. It all tastes nice and balanced. There's a good level of sweetness. I'm fine with really sweet beers. I've not found a beer that's too sweet just yet. Yes, that's true. They are actually, aren't they, over there? I've seen a few of their stuff on Untapped when I was looking at disco beers. I think they've got one. I think Turning Point actually tried to do like either get some of their beers or do some kind of collab thing with Turning Point in USA. I don't know any of their stuff. I've never seen them. Oh, forgot to change the banner. 6%, yeah, 6% vanilla custard ale doesn't really pick up on the 6% in any way. There's no harshness like that. It's perfectly light, certainly light of body. Not too much on the lacing like yesterday's beers. Probably shouldn't drink so fast, but I've got to get through these beers. Oh, there's it. Oh, there's the custard. It's quite late. That's quite late. There's the vanilla custard on the back of the palate there now. Or is that the lactose sweetness? Is that the milk sugars coming through? It's really good anyway. I really like this. I've actually got another one because I buy them in pairs, as you know. But I better get onto that one pretty soon. Let me have a quick look. Send a little thing through in the box to talk about the beers. So let's see what else they got to say about it. My custard, 6% vanilla custard pale. It's me just put the ale on there, but it's the same thing, isn't it? And they say, for those of you that are new to the custard beer story, is that you? Not me. It all began a few years ago with a one-off brew of the OG yellow matter custard. As close as you can get to custard without your eyes getting wet. It's not the greatest line, but it's kind of amusing, isn't it? Chock full of vanilla, wheat and oats. Contains lactose suitable vegetarians. Yeah, not too much else more. Also, always like the artwork on Turning Point's cans, and these ones, it's just a big splashy dollop of custard, isn't it? Looks pretty good. I need to get one of those turning machines. Just a few comments. Smith's Brown Ale, Magnet and Bulldog are all brewed there. I was up to 19 months ago. Oh, Tadcaster. Brown Ale and Magnet. I don't know about that. Magnet I've heard of, but never really see it down here. Okay. So you're agreeing about the whole online kind of presence for West Country breweries. Did try and do an interview with the guys from Contoc, and I was passing pillar to post so much that I gave up. Don't think they quite got the YouTube thing. I did an interview with the guy from Nuttycombe Brewery, which is a company that took over from Cotley. And they were pretty hot, to be fair, on the whole YouTube thing. I had a nice hour's chat. That's back on the grid there somewhere. Didn't do it as a live. Did it as a pre-record on Zoom. It was year before last because I had a beer out with a band I rather like, the Moss-Druid Sons of Valdunican, who are another quality Yorkshire product, hailing from Barnsley Rock City, as they are. If you haven't seen any of their songs, it's an experience worth looking up. But yeah, they see, especially nowadays with a lot of breweries like closing left, right, and centre. I see some people have mentioned that, and I think I've never heard of you, and I don't expect to hear or know about all of the 2,500 or whatever it is now breweries in the UK. I think I know a fair amount of them just by sort of online presence and stuff like that, and looking around. Even some of the smaller ones, they don't really do social media, just do the local market. I think they're missing a trick. I think they've got even if the owners and the people running it aren't interested in social media or don't like it, they should get someone in that can do a bit of that just to get more stuff out. It's just, I think all of us who do this kind of YouTube thing, by and large, like the youngsters like Harry, aside, etc., we're all of the same sort of generational thing where we've known a world before the internet. And so we're young enough to accept that, the development, and utilize it and know the advantages of it as well as the dangers. So we can see both sides of the fence. But yeah, I think they should be able to do a little bit more. I think it would be good. That's a good question for you. As we are a beery chat, I welcome all questions and chats, however ridiculous or controversial, not too controversial. A tropical stout. Don't think that's controversial. and what you expect. Building a recipe for a local crop. My thoughts on US hops to get the fruit. Lager, yeast, warm. Right, that's a really good question actually, because that looks at something along the lines of this. You know, like, do you use adjuncts to get the fruit, or do you use that enough hop amounts to use the fruitier hops? I personally, I'm not massively fussed on fruit stouts. I don't think it fully works, because it's about balance, and I think it's difficult to get a balance between fruit and the kind of chocolate coffee roasty notes of a stout. Ones that do tend to be, I think, the darker fruits like blackberry and raspberry stouts. I've got one or two of those in as well. I've got a raspberry beer coming up next, but that's still a pale ale, not a stout. So yeah, I would think probably the favourite is to go with the hop combinations, but I'm not sure about exactly which hops bring enough fruit. And obviously you want to do it with hops to avoid putting any more adjuncts into a beer than is really necessary. Some people don't like that at all. Yeah, I've tried a few fruity stouts, and I find them just a bit odd. I want fruity pales for my palate, which is kind of strange, because obviously what I say about pale ales, and I prefer stouts, but I'll start pale ale and then go to stout. Coconut is the main thing I would expect for a tropical stout. Yeah, you see, yeah, that's a fair point. Yeah, so I went fruit thinking of tropical fruits, but yeah, coconut. There's no argument of whether a coconut's a fruit or is it a nut or whatever. I don't know. Another one with coconut. Yeah, Neptune coconut stout. It's called On the Bounty, I believe. I tried it a few years ago, and coconut is another one, very much like vanilla, that I always struggle to pick up in a beer. I want it to taste like a Bounty. I want the chocolate edge on it, but coconut, always struggle. Toasted coconut just sort of amplifies the roasted notes of the malt for me usually. I had one or two pina colada pales along the way. What's the name? Your other Liverpool brewery, Glenafric, do one that wasn't too bad. But again, it's more about the fruit, like the pineapple kind of peachy kind of notes for me. Right, okay. Second part of that sentence, they use sriracha ace to add to the coconut. Oh, they do put coconut in and then add sriracha ace. So you do get beers that have I've seen beers just with sriracha ace and not any adjuncts to try and get that coconut. Sabro do coconut as well. I've had one or two Sabro stouts. And again, I don't get too much coconut off of it. What I would suggest you don't do is use Citra in a stout to try and get that kind of grapefruity note, because that sort of goes towards a black IPA kind of thing. I had a Citra stout, believe it or not, from the Colonel last year, and it was awful, mainly because I'm not a big fan of Citra apart from certain permutations. But yeah, don't use Citra in a stout. Tropical stouts are more akin to milk stout. They tend to be sweet in it. Oh, right. So the sweetness comes from the milk sugars from lactose or something, as opposed to fruit sweetness. What about traditional tropical? What's a traditional tropical stout? I don't really know. Can't think of any particularly. Dragon stout. Okay. Galaxy, Citra, and Mosaic, I think, are commonly used. I don't not. Don't use Citra in a stout. See, as if to illustrate the point I said earlier about not knowing breweries, Harrogate Brewing, I don't think I've seen them. I would have thought I would have done. I've looked into Harrogate as a town. It's in the core range. I must have looked at Harrogate Brewing. I got a mate from Harrogate. I'm sure we've talked about beers. Used to love Cotley beers, yeah. Golden Seahawk, don't remember that one, but I remember the one with the owl on the front. Instantly, I've seen the Varsho Sons of Dooney live twice. Get in, another Dooney fan. People look at me strange when I say the Bar Steward Sons of Aldunica. If you've not heard of them, or not heard any of their stuff, like I say, it's certainly an experience. I've probably seen them about a dozen or so times at various festivals and various gigs. Hopefully again soon this year. I'm going to wrap this one up because there's not a lot left in the glass. Still can't smell vanilla down the back of it, mostly because of my blocked up massive hooter. But the taste is pretty good. There's nothing bad about that. I don't get particularly custard, but I do get a nice sweetness and jolly decent pale ale. Cheers, I'll put that one down the hatch. I think I shall move fairly swiftly on to the next one. Let's get a couple more comments. I see I missed a few there. Thanks very much again. Everybody comes in, pops in. Bung your comments in the comments box. Where was I? Where did I get up to? Hey, there we go. Joe Edwards popped in as well. Sweat Table Degenerates. Good evening to you. Yeah, I must have had Dragon Stout somewhere back in the day, but I don't remember it particularly. Might have to pick one up somewhere to add to the stash. I'm trying to get beers out the stash, not add more in. Look, Louis. I'm not going to sing. Don't sing. What a very welcoming place, everybody. Saying hello to each other. Good stuff. I remember having that one. Which one's that? Eureka, Crystal, and Glacier. I think it used the Yorkshire yeast. Oh, is that the Harrogate one? One of the best coconut stouts I've had was Cocoa Nutter from Little Critters. I've seen that about. Yeah. Get around to that one as well. Steeplejack Brewery, another one. Definitely don't know that one. Are they from up your ends there, Luke? Yeah, beer 2 is definitely coming. What the Dunkin' Bud is going on here? Buddy Biggs. I always get your name mixed up on purpose because you always call me Rasco, and I'm not sure. There we go. Who's more insulted, me or Rasco? I'm very much definitely Disco Rasco and Disco Beer Review. I'm the one that probably is likely to be talking to you on a live stream somewhere. Beer 2 coming up, as I mentioned, is Pink Matter Custard. We had Yellow Matter Custard. This is Pink Matter Custard. It is, once again, 6%. And it is a raspberry custard ale. Really good. We're getting the ABVs on there at 6%. And it's in the fridge for a few hours. Ding, ding. What a glass. Ding, ding. Ding, ding. Round 2. I always go for these kind of glasses. And I know, I reckon Anna will be the first one to remind me of the name of that shape of glass, because I always forget. I need to go and buy some others. Because I think the beer tastes best in those. What about you? Well, this one's a little bit lively. This beer will still be 1 year old and probably 3 months out of date. Still a good glug glug noise going out. Still looks a little thin, this one. I don't remember it being this thin from 2 years ago. As I say, if anybody's just popping in, this is the birthday beers to celebrate. Turning Point's now, I think it's their 8th birthday this year, so I think this is their 7th birthday beers, if I remember rightly. Somebody will correct me on that. But yeah, raspberry pale ale. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. That's bad. Now, let me be clear. That is my fault, very much my fault. It's not Turning Point's fault. Yeah, so lots of bitty bits floating around in there. I don't own a tea strainer. I thought I did, but I can't find it. So I don't think I'll go and strain that. Maybe I'll go and get the other one and see. That's bad. Or maybe I'll just drink it because it's my fault for leaving it for so long. Don't quite know why. I don't quite know why I left it. I just sort of wanted to. I think I left it because of the stout. I was trying to work out exactly what to do. I wanted to do a video. I wanted to do something informative and interesting. I kind of ran out of time. They were going to do, I think two years ago, they did like an online thing, an online Zoom thing, which was open invite. And I think the first year they did it, there was like 30 or 40 people on it. I won some merch. I think I won this T-shirt on that, if I remember rightly. Yeah, I did. I won this T-shirt for wearing that Guinness T-shirt. Where is it? Oh, it's over there from New Zealand. So hence, I'm not sponsored by Turning Point in any way. I don't think Turning Point, even though I'm doing this because I put the thing out too late. But yeah, I keep going back to them because I really enjoyed them. So that's not going to be great, but let's have a little go anyway. No, look, John, I'm not going to chug it. I don't really chug anything. Yeah, not real custard bits, real, I guess, yeasty bits. Anyway. That's the one. Thank you, Big Dog. Nonic pint glass. I think the beer just goes better in those, really. I think it kind of keeps it fairly tight, and like a big pint glass, it spreads it out a little bit. Well, the head's dissipated on that fairly well. Glad you cleared it up. Yeah, well, there's only one disco apart from all the other discos. Bidog, if you like the bar stewards, have you seen the Lancashire hot pots? If not, I do love them. I've got a couple of their songs. I've downloaded one or two of them because they do the same sort of thing. Parody songs, either royally taking a mick or just generally bar stewardizing popular songs into something much funnier. I used Lancashire hot pots in a music quiz I used to do quite a lot for the cover versions. I used to play it and say what was the if I remember them, one of the main ones I remember in Lancashire hot pots was a cover of Corner Shop, Brimful of Asher. Oh, and also their cover of Yellow, where they sing about Henderson sauce. Hendos. No, that's not Lancashire hot pots. That's the Everly Pregnant Brothers, who are from Sheffield, so Yorkshire, and do, again, a very similar thing. No, I can't think of a Lancashire hot pot song, but I have heard them, and have used them in music quizzes. That's a great shout out, by the way, for some just brilliant comedy. Yes, I would love to go and see them. I nearly did in 2020. Before it all kicked off, I was planning gigs up in Yorkshire. Steeplejack is out of Portland, US. I was talking to somebody about Steeplejack. Yeah. Well, I think it'll probably settle a bit. There you go. Like I say, can't blame the brewery. It's entirely my fault. I went to school with one of Lancashire hot pots from St Helens. Love it. Did you see my chug? I did the chug up at Paravel. Yeah, Luke, 35 minutes in, first mention of Paravel. I've done well tonight. Yeah, I didn't chug that too well, so I haven't chugged since probably 20s. I said 17 on that thing, but yeah, I don't really chug beers that much. I probably could, but it would cost too much. Yeah, suspended particulate matter. That's a great explanation. Yeah, I'm not fussed about it. I'm sort of straining it through my teeth a little bit. It's not hardly noticeable. And it doesn't seem to do anything too much to the beard again. No off flavours. There's a good bulk of body to the beer. I can't taste raspberry too much, and it's not. That's the thing. It's not too tart or sour like some raspberry beers can be. It's a good sweetness. Again, not overly sticky sweetness, and not artificial. I don't think. It's not a terrible beer. It's like it's my fault that I've left it so long that it's gone like that. I would imagine if I drunk it this time last year, I don't think it would have been a problem. The next version of this one is going to be interesting. I'll show you the other ones in a minute. They also did a collab with Top Rope, the Lancashire Hot Pots. So they from Lancashire, or kind of, I suppose, yeah, that is Lancashire going that way, isn't it? Yeah, cheers, buddy. Thanks very much. Thanks for popping in. We'll see you around in there at some point. Excuse me, sniffing away. Blocked up nose again. I do feel like I could chug that, to be fair. I don't particularly want to, but I'm going back. I'm still trying to find the raspberry, a big raspberry hit. Again, I think because of the year old. We're talking about music here tonight. Another band in that sort of vein for years, Punk Rock Factory. Popular music and Disney songs in a pop punk style from Wales. That is a great shout, and I will be sure to look them up because that sounds... I'm not a massive fan of punk music, but it is a very interesting one. It's, who else is there? Who else is there from down your way, Beer Dog, is the fabulous Skimmity Hitchers, who do a very similar thing, but they ciderize songs, sing songs in a very cider folk rock. It's not really punk, it's folk rock style. Love the Skimmity Hitchers. I've seen them many times at festivals. In fact, 7 times in one weekend. Yeah, check out Skimmity Hitchers. Mostly songs about drinking cider. Hey, I don't mind a little cider imbibation now and again. That is right, isn't it? Imbibation, drinking of cider. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. This one, I don't think actually this one will say much more about Pink Matter Custard. I do love the name Pink Matter Custard, Yellow Matter Custard, and the stout is Dark Matter Custard, or it was. Imagine the vanilla custard pale above, but with 200 G/L gallons a litre. No, that wouldn't make sense. 200 somethings of raspberry puree and even more vanilla. I'm not getting even more vanilla. I'm just getting whatever that vanilla taste is that I can't really pick up. That is what we attempted for the 2021 custard sessions. We were so chuffed we saw no reason in changing this beer either for now. Yeah. Oh, that's pretty advanced planning if they have, because I've got something coming up about that, the news. Pink beer for good people, contains lactose, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So they are changing this beer this year. These beers are out tomorrow. I believe will be released on the Turning Point website. It's a really good website. Again, I'm not sponsored by Turning Point to say this. I just like their beers. I love going on their website and checking stuff out. As you probably know, one of their main beers is Disco King. So I'm always looking at, and I've still got another batch to stash I've got to do that I was going to do before Christmas. I've still got all their other disco beer variants to do. Double Disco King, the Disco Mango, Disco Down Under. I've got to get around to sorting it out. I was going to do it, well, every week for the last 6 weeks, really. I should have done it in the last 2 weeks because I've got a bit of time, less time at the brewery this week. I could do it tomorrow. No, I think it'll be next week. I like doing them all together, the disco beers. I don't know why. It's just something I've sort of started getting into, really. You've seen the Skimmity Hitchers. I thought you might have. To me, anything above the M4 is up north. So yeah, this is the thing, you see. Like, as in terms of football, as you probably know, I'm a Plymouth Argyle fan. Completely random ass reasons. It seems I was born and brought up in northwest London. I just got into it. through friends and kind of stayed with it for 28 years. But yeah, everywhere we go, that's not the start of a song, by the way. Everywhere we go, every ground we go to in the Football League is north of us, technically. So we always sing "You Dirty Northern Shithole" or whatever. And it's quite funny going to places like Fulham, Brentford, who are actually south of me here, and singing "You Dirty Northern Whatever." But yeah, that's one of the vagaries and randomness of supporting a West Country football team, I guess. Yeah, see, I'm definitely a southerner, but with very much West Country sensibilities and also northern sensibilities, very much indeed. I had a thing planned as a little bit of an aside, in case I ran out of things to say or questions to ask. I thought I spent a little bit of time this afternoon, and I need to do this now because I need to go and blow my nose. I spent a little time this afternoon putting together a little thing, just looking back of all the Turning Point beers I've featured or we featured on the channel in the last 5 years. I think it was 2019 we first saw them out and about at beer festivals down here in London. So if I can get this right, do enjoy this little video. Wishing Turning Point a happy birthday. Well, there we go. That's not even all the ones I could actually find. That's just the ones that kind of fitted into that little montage. So yeah, there's been quite a few. Did you see any that you liked? Did you see any that you remember? Aside from these ones, of course. I don't think... I was looking through the grids from obviously Instagram and YouTube. It's the first time I actually done them like on camera, really. I did them, I think, on Instagram. But yeah. So this one's going down all right, and it's kind of settling out a little bit, so it's not actually that bad. Not a massive raspberry note, to be fair. But I think there was. I think it's just died off a little bit. Wait to see what's coming up next. All right, all right, big dogs. No need to swear at me, son. Do you know what I mean? Don't worry, you can stay on the stream. It's fine. Just behave yourself. Standard practice for mentioning that. Yeah, so I don't know if I'm doing a good. I mean, like I say, I'm not selling it. I'm not trying to sell it. I'm just talking about it. But anybody likely to rush out tomorrow and pick these Custard beers up? What do we feel about custom beers? Is it a thing? Is it a good thing? Personally, I'm all for it. Like I say, I've had these beers. I think it might have been 2021, might have been the first ones I had. I don't think I did, or maybe I did 2020, not sure. But I'm not sure if I'm personally going to rush out tomorrow when they get released. There's no need to rush. There'll be plenty of beers. You can pick them up next week. Probably, I don't think it's not that kind of hype, you know. I did this thing with Putty in February where I put a video up the night before it was due for release, trying to say that I'm ahead of the game, you know, like on the hype train. And I don't think anybody fell for it, obviously. So nobody's going to fall for this one because it's much less hype. But yeah, putting out Turning Point video, our live stream the night before they release some new beers. But I think they're quite popular. They must do because they're doing it every year, like as a birthday thing. So why not? As I say, I'm trying to clear the stash, not add more beers on. So I'm not sure if I will, but they have got some other interesting kind of beers on the website. I'm very keen on I'm very keen on the mango and blueberry sour they've got on it. That looks quite interesting. Again, a couple of decent adjunct stouts I saw when I looked earlier. That's one thing I was going to do. Bear with me a second whilst I set it up. I should have done beforehand. I was just going to have a look at the new Turning Point Custard Session beers coming out tomorrow. And I think I can do it by sharing the screen. There we go. Yeah, so that's the new Custard Session artwork for the beers coming out tomorrow. I'm never massively a fan when breweries update the artwork necessarily, but they've got more yellow with custard on the yellow matter custard. I personally think that looks all right. It's not going to convince me to buy them any more or any less, but it looks all right. It looks all right. It's kind of fun. As for this one, the pink matter custard is getting changed entirely by name. And ingredients, they're going this time for screwball matter custard, cherry and bubblegum custard pale. Now, when it comes to fruits, I'm a little bit of a sucker for cherries. I do love a good Black Forest stout, but this is a pale. I'm not quite so fussed on cherry sour beers, but a cherry pale ale, that might just very possibly swing it for me. What say you? I don't necessarily equate bubblegum with cherry. I can see raspberry and strawberry bubblegum, but not cherry. But like I say, I'm all for that. That sounds fine to me. There's nothing wrong with that beer. Just all the bits floating in it. But what we do have, the big one coming up, is the big finale, the big finish, what they did last year. It was something I thought was basically fairly bloody unnecessary at the end of the day. So 2022, they did a beer called Dark Matter Custard. And then 2022, that was 2021, 2022, they actually did Darker Matter Custard. So the first time it was a 6% chocolate custard stout. This one from 2022 is a 9% chocolate custard stout. And yes, I haven't drunk that either. I got 2 of them. I think I had it on the live stream. And then I kept this one back. Again, not entirely sure why. It just, I couldn't quite fit it into some kind of either social media post or beer review or video. David Wilson, welcome along. Smashing through the Turning Point beers here. Currently on Pink Matter Custard, the Raspberry Custard Pale. I'm just working out what to do next because I've got this now 2-year-old 9% stout. It's a 9% stout, but I'm guessing it will have lactose in it, so I think it'll be a bit bubbly. But do I get that one out first? And smash a 9% stout, and then, or do I go straight into last year's version, which was actually a collab with Northern Monk and called Death Matter Custard. So this one's 2 years old. This one's 1 year old. And I can't believe they did this, or even why. 14% chocolate custard stout. Now you know me, I love me stouts. I can't imagine drinking both of them in one sitting. So with 9 of you in, thank you very much for popping in and see me waffle on about some, quite frankly, slightly mad beers. Which one shall I drink next? The 2-year-old 9% or the 1-year-old 14%? I know you're going to say both. Let's have a show of hands in the comments because I can't remember how to do a poll. And I should have done the poll at the start if I was going to do that. I mean, just for a bit more madness, the beer that they're releasing tomorrow as this one is this one, the Bourbon Barrel Aged Death Matter Custard chocolate custard stout, still at 14%, but you notice they've put it into a 330 can, which is probably for the best, I think. I see a lot of people slagging off 330ml cans, but when you're talking about a 14% stout, I can kind of see it. Well, the first vote is for the 9% and a 2-year-old. The 14% should last longer. Yes, it will. I think that's probably the sensible option. What say everybody else? Still got a little bit on the raspberry to go. So despite all the floaty bits, I think I'm probably going to finish it, or at least get as far down as possible till that's all in the bottom. It's still a nice beer. It's more sweeter, I think, because of the fruit sweetness on it. So again, like I say, I haven't got a problem with fruit beers or sweet beers. I haven't found one that's too sweet yet. See what that 14% sweetness is like. It's good though, but I'm going to put it outside. I think due to no other comments, I think David Wilson really has kind of hit the nail on the head, really. I've got to drink it at some point. This is my problem. See, too many beers, not enough for me. I've got all these ones to do. And do you know what I haven't done? And Luke, this is you if you're still listening. I did say this yesterday. Remind me to take the bloody photographs so I can put them on Instagram tomorrow. And not one of you has said, Disco, do the bloody photographs. So I haven't got any photographs of these beers to go on Instagram tomorrow. But I do have a second can so I can put them on and drink them again tomorrow night. I put the camera over there as well so I can just do the little lineup and do the photograph. I'll do it on the 9% in that case. No, that's fair. I'm going to leave that up there. No, that's fair. I agree with you, Beer Dog. Almost always start lower myself and go higher. I also almost always, if I can, start lighter and go dark. So I want to be finishing on a high percentage stout. So yeah, this was the collab. This was the dark amount of custard. I think the original one, dark amount of custard, was only 6%. Couldn't find a picture of that either, which surprised me slightly. I would have thought it had been there. So here we go. There'd be a 3 tonight. I said I was going to do 3 beers. Whether I do the 4th one, oh no. I put it up on the banner. Gonna have to change the banner, aren't I? Is dark amount of custard. I do like things to be just kind of right, you know. Thank you. Shouldn't have looked at me WhatsApp at that juncture. But there you go. Yes, thank you, Dave Wilson. Glad you popped in. Very, very, very kind of you for doing the reminders. I do need like a not secretary, assistant. What's the word? PA. It said I've got a DW. Right, yeah. So let's get this 9% beer into a glass and see what I remember from 2 years ago, because I definitely had this one. I think, yes, I drank it on the live stream that they did on Zoom, and I had a dark matter custard from the year before, so I know that held up, and that was only 6%. This one being 9%. Well, look, the head on that, it's still quite bubbly, but not overly carbonated for sitting there for 2 years quietly. And mustache is fairly cool, as you probably saw. Well, if you saw the live stream from yesterday, well, I did a little video of the cupboard that is the Disco Beer Stash. Let me get that reminder out of the way so you can see the full lineup there. Let's put 14% on the end as well. Ooh. Yeah, I take a top-down photo of an open can, nearly finished, but yeah, often forgets about it. That's the thing. That's often also why I buy in pairs, so I've always got a second one to do it, but I often forget to do it if I'm doing a beer review. I have to kind of pause the video, go and take the photograph. It's difficult because I've got to go all that way round to the bar to kind of get the view. Now I've got the plank in the way, it actually makes it easier. It does look good in the glass. Yeah, it came out quite reasonably carbonated there, and I'm not sure that head is actually going to stick around too much, but it looks good. Nose is staying blocked up tonight, which is a real pain in the neck. Yep, so I can't smell anything at all. It's the difference between it being a bit colder outside now and wearing a jumper being a bit warm, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, thanks everyone for popping in. Cheers. Oh. Yeah, PA, just general help, I think. Well, yeah, it's a 9%. Oh, yeah, there's a lovely burst of chocolate cake in the mouth. At the end of that, just really late on, absolutely holding up really well. I don't really need a 14% beer after that. Yes, nice. It hasn't quite got that cakey mouth feel of some 9% stouts with chocolate in, but there's definitely a good chocolate note to it. Again, I would say it's not necessarily balanced then, because I can't taste vanilla anyway, but that's never a problem because I can't taste it in that particularly. Tasting notes they sent with it haven't been particularly helpful thus far. I've said all that anyway. That's the tasting notes for the 14%, so I can't read that on this one because I'm on the other one. You know, when you do a show plan and then you deviate from the show plan. So yeah, builds up in layers a little bit, that does. Not massive on the roastedness of the malts. It's all about the chocolate. Wonder what the chocolate content is. Let's check on the 14%, see what the chocolate content is, because I can't find the one for the 14%, for the 9%. They actually described the 14% as a monstrosity, which is a little worrying, but I think I know what they mean. Yeah, it doesn't really say about what the chocolate content is, whether there's any actual chocolate or if it's just from the malts. Yeah, it looks thick in the glass. It's not massively chunky thick on the mouthfeel. It feels initially a little bit thin, but not watery, just a bit thin. But still good resonance on it. Like I say, the chocolatey, almost not quite cake comes through a bit later. It's a good cakey note. It's a nod to chocolate birthday cake. If I'm going to have a birthday cake, I don't really care for my birthday in July. But yeah, it's probably going to be a chocolate cake. Could only be improved by the addition of cherries in that one. The cherries are going into the pale ale tomorrow. Well, jealous as I drink mediocre amber ale. Well, this is the thing. It's like I was saying yesterday. Do you know what I mean? I'm not a rich man because I spent all the money on beer. If I'd saved up a bit more, do you know what I mean? But I see these beers and I buy them, but there's so much beer I don't buy. I don't rush out and buy all the hype beers like your Putties and your Track and your Sure Shot and your this, that, and the other. I go for beers that I think I'm going to enjoy, and that's what I saw when I got these. I think I'm going to enjoy them, and so far I've been all right. I mean, it's been better that I've been able to drink them with you guys. I do, yeah. It would have been nice if you guys could have had a lineup as well. But if I'd planned it better and told you, maybe we could have all done a joint session on them. That's an idea. Anybody want to do a joint session if I get them tomorrow? I think I could just about manage to get them tomorrow. It comes out on the website, I think. I want to say 11, but it might be 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. We can find out because it'll be on their Instagram, won't it? Let's have a look. Oh yeah, they're launching a custard session tomorrow at various pubs up and down the country. There is a big list of them. If you see any of the places that you recognise on there. Fair amount in Yorkshire, of course, but getting out and about. Yeah, so that's happening tomorrow evening, I believe. Oh, there's the full lineup, all 3 beers. Friday 26th. I think it's Friday. Tomorrow's going into all the venues. I think it's on the website tomorrow. They don't say that there, so don't quote me on that. I can't help you if it's wrong. Oh, they went with the Gary Barlow one as well. Anyway, stop that. Hey, Sharky, yeah, you joined us on the 3rd, but I've got 4 beers up here. This one's a big 14% stout that I probably won't get round to tonight because I said I was only going for an hour. I don't know when I'm going to do that one. Might have to do that one separately. But this one is 9%. Darker matter custard. That's a beautiful beer. It's just balanced. It's beautiful sweetness, good chocolate notes. It's 2 years old. This beer is 2 years old, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just brilliant. I want to stop and savour this, but I keep going back to it because I want to get that chocolate cake going on. But yeah, it's, as I believe Adam said at the start of the show, maybe it's right. Turning Point are better at the darker beers, their stouts and the barrel aged stuff. This is a beer that's held up for my palate, anyway. For my palate, it's held up really well. I'm pleased I cracked it. Great shout, David Wilson. Say go for it. I don't know what the 14% is going to be like. It's only a year old. Maybe I'll leave that till next year or the year after. I don't know. Mind you, I've got two of them. Got two 14% beers because I buy them in pairs. They do a little pack, I think. They do a 6-pack. 2 of each for good price. That's very definitely my kind of beer. Everyone sends you out-of-date beers, sir. I'm trying to get rid of beers in the stash, not get more in, but yeah, I will take them. That's fine. If you want to send me your out-of-date beers, I've got a few out-of-date beers in the stash that I'm planning to do. Like I said on yesterday's stream, this little number from 2019 went down very well the other day, but didn't do any content with it. It's a 9.6% Imperial Schwarz beer. Another vote. Cheers, Greg. Another vote for Turning Point's darker beers. Yeah, fair enough. I think you're probably right. They are pretty good with the darker stuff. I will always go. It's another brewery, but they've got a lot of like pales on the roster, but I just don't really go for them because it's all about the hop content, as you know. I'm not massively on the hop content. Well, one other little thing I prepared, just because it's Thursday, little throwback Thursday. This is a little montage of that time that me and Rasco, I think first, I'm not sure if it is the first, but the first time we saw a Turning Point beer out at a festival. I thought it was 2018, but it turns out it's 2019. And this is what Rasco said about not these beers. It's not these beers. It's a different Turning Point beer, but this is what Rasco said.
Disco, it's last orders, and we've got a last half on. What are you half on?
Well, since we've been gone, sort of like QPC moment, hey, I've had a Turning Point Bamboozle, and I've got to say, that beer is very challenging. It's very bitter, it's coffee, it's sweet, it's hitting you in every direction.
You enjoyed it, didn't you? Liked it.
Look, I don't want to put a sneak preview in for tomorrow because I'm back for a second day. But my beer at the festival, I do have one from Turning Point Bamboozle. I'm going to post on it. It hits you this direction, it hits you that direction. It hits you from all directions. It's a bamboozle. Read the review.
Well, there you go. That's a little montage from a couple of videos we did back in the day when we used to get out and about to festivals and do joint videos. Funny enough, the last one we did last summer was from that festival, Ealing Beer Festival. A festival that's really close to both mine and Rasco's hearts. And hopefully we'll be back there this year. It's early July. So that was July 2019, the first thing we saw from Turning Point, I believe. Looking back on the grids on socials on the Instagram, that's certainly the first one I can find. Then there was a little bit later, so on the first montage there, where I saw Disco King out and about in Doncaster Tap at Doncaster Brewery. That's a kind of little bit of a history of with Turning Point. I've never worn this t-shirt. I've always put it up on the back because I'm really not sure about it. I like more of a logo thing, and I like something on the back. So, and it looks like I've got it on the wrong way round on the screen. I haven't. This is genuinely the front. There's no label here. But yeah, don't mind a neon pink t-shirt either. Howdy, Sammy Short and Stout over in Australia. Thanks for popping in. I think this would be your kind of thing as well. This is a 9% chocolate custard stout. What say you? What say you about the 14% version of their chocolate custard stout that I really don't think I'm getting around to today because I've gone over the hour that I said I was going to do. But I've got all you lovely people in to talk about the beer with me. So thank you very, very much indeed for popping in. Yeah, it's sort of it's the alcohol that's hitting rather than like any kind of off or astringency flavors on a 2-year-old. That's the other thing. 2-year-old. I say that like it's like some kind of like whoa. It's not, because as I say, the best before date's fairly nominal. Everything in there is gonna be a flavor that holds up. A big chocolate cake little number. Where would you be without a little bit of birthday cake? Well, I'd be going to Tesco's for a little bit of birthday cake. Let's see how well it goes down. I was thinking of doing this with the 14%, but we'll do it with the 9%. Some little dinky, like little dinky cupcakes, isn't it? But yeah, I think that'll go pretty well. Cheers. I always try not to eat on camera because it could go horribly, horribly wrong. It's like having an actual chocolate cake with this chocolate custard stout. It's literally just having like chocolate custard. Oh, that goes together so well. So well. Yeah, the thickness of the cake just enhances what isn't actually a particularly thick stout. To be fair, for 9%. And again, that's not a detriment to the brewery or the beer, because it is so drinkable. It's got such great chocolate cake notes of it without being thick and voluptuous and chocolate cakey. You get them stouts that there are some stouts. I'm going to say it. Some versions of the oatmeal stout up at Perivale, I used to say it's like having 2 chocolate muffins and a coffee in a glass because you've got that cakey thickness. I tell you who else used to do it was Wild Weather. That cake batter swing was you could taste the consistency of chocolate cake in the stout. This hasn't got that chocolate cake consistency in the mouthfeel, and you can't feel that thickness, but it's still so good. And if you put it across a chocolate muffin, these ones have got white icing. I imagine they got more vanilla in it. I'm not going to try too many of these, but there's got to be a bit of vanilla in that icing, right? I have no idea what that is on top. I think it's a piece of caramel, but it's still a big, thick, chunky chocolate cake. So let's try this one, and then I think I'm going to be done for the night. Cheers all. It doesn't pull up the vanilla too much for me. It's just a nice balance of some creamy icing. Creaminess cuts through that chocolate cake, and then you got the big chocolate cake thing of a really very decadent chocolate muffin for a little tray of £4 out of Tesco's, done on the fly earlier when I walked around. Part of the reason I was a little bit late, to be fair, probably spent too long looking for the cake. Ooh. Oh, that's so nice. So nice. Oh. Do you know what? Doesn't need it. Does not need it. It's not even a full roasty, toasty kind of stout. You get them some kind of stouts that are kind of got all that roasted malt in it. You could taste a little bit of smoke. This hasn't. This is just dark malt. Obviously a bit of chocolate malt, but you don't want too much chocolate malt to not get anywhere near it because it's more bitter than chocolate apparently. But yeah, just that's just really, really nice. So I've still got a delicious problem with what to do with the 14%. I'm not doing it now. I said I was doing an hour and 3 beers, and I'm going to stick to an hour and 3 beers if that's all right with you guys. I want to say a massive, massive thanks to all of you for dropping your comments, for choosing to spend an hour or so with an idiot like me looking at some fairly mad beers and not anywhere else on the internet, whoever else may be live tonight. I've really enjoyed it. You guys have been brilliant. I'm going to go and sit over on a comfy chair because I've still got a bruised body bone from yesterday. If you saw yesterday's stream, it's still up. Go and watch it. Yeah, a little bit of an accident, fell downstairs. So I'm kind of perching on this chair. So if you hear any squeaks, that'll be what it is. But yeah, I still haven't taken a photograph of this. You still forgot to remind me. A bit of thanks for popping in. Sleep well, brother. I hope what goes okay. Don't worry, because I'm sloping off too. Thank you very much indeed for everybody popping in. Do me a favour, go back, click on the like button. I know you've all subscribed anyway, that's why you're here, but do click the like button because apparently that's a good thing. I don't care either way. And drop some comments in the proper comment box afterwards as well. That'd be great if you could. If not, don't worry about it. Thank you very, very much indeed, all of you. You've all been ace and putting up with me. This has been the Custard Sessions. I'm in Disco beer review, looking at some beers, year-old beers from Turning Point Brew Co up in Knaresborough in Yorkshire. And it's been enjoyable. I'm going to go and sup on this a little bit. I'm not doing daily lives. I'll see you probably at some point, either over the weekend or next week. Might do another live next week. Give me a shout if you want to do something. If you want to do like a collab live show, want to pop over to the Disco Arms, give me a shout. I'll set something up. Got a couple of ideas for next week. Got a couple of videos coming out next week, I hope, if I get them edited. Thank you very much indeed, each and every one of you. And yeah, enjoy the new outro. Cheers all. Well, that didn't work. Gonna have to do that again. Bugger. There's always something. I mean, if it isn't late starting, it's late ending. Right, let's do that again. Cheerio.